Greetings, fellow citizens of the city of tomorrow. Ricky here doing part 2 of my first ever walk around World Showcase. Yesterday, if I'm using Spaceship Earth as my compass, if that's north on the compass, it looks like I almost made it to half. In yesterday's video, when I realized there was so much design and I didn't want to go fast, I wanted to take my time and break it all down. I'm starting today's adventure right at the edge of my wife's homeland. My wife's grandparents came over from Greece, started a chocolate shop and a soda fountain, and we're just your typical New York Greek immigrants working hard here in America. Greece is one of the places that we want to go to so bad, so I'm excited to see how much Greece they have to offer, because sometimes Greece, even though, you know, no big deal, they started civilization, they can get the shaft. And both small worlds in America, they get one dude, 2 lambs. So come on, bud. The Greeks invented civilization. And yeah, I'm in Japan. Why no respect for the Greeks? Why no respect? I have no heritage of my own, so that's the only thing I can hold on to, is that I'm half Greek, as in my wife is Greek. All right, we move on. We are now in the Japan Pavilion, which this is a place that I will be going to one day. I'm working on a plan when the world gets back to semi-normal. I want to go to all of the Asian parks in one 10-day span. So you can see definitely we have a different type of trees. You can see this tree has a flowery bloom on it. We have this little creek bed over here. Oh, I bet this is the halfway mark. I bet this thing that I've seen in all of my peers' video, I think that's the halfway mark. So maybe I just stopped just a one building too short yesterday. Oh wow, look at this. I've always wanted to go to Japan, not only because of how it feels like it's on the edge of technology and the way that they've designed their cities, but ancestrally speaking, how different their heritage is from us, their history. Wow, this is huge. It would make sense with such a huge Asian population in America to make those citizens of Disney World or Disneyland feel more at home, or be able to share some of the things from the old country with their children and tell them what they've been taught. Wow, look at this blue, like, is that, yeah, it's like a navy blue, like acrylic style. Oh, wow. Look at that. Look how far up that looks because of all of these horizontal lines and this massive canopy on this beautiful building that looks like it's made out of wood. And then there we go. That's that money shot, right? That's dead center of World Showcase for Spaceship Earth. Yeah, let's come in here and see how far I can go. Nice. A couple of great warriors, samurai warriors, I'm gonna assume. By the way, if I get anything culturally wrong, I'm trying. I don't mean to be rude. I know what I know, and it's not a lot. Look at this embankment. Look at that sloping embankment. This feels very much like a fortress. The water with all of those stones in it. That sort of weeping willow style tree at the end that's draped over. How we're using these trees so that you can't see anything else when we're here. Oh my God, this is phenomenal. Look at that little bridge, how it's got that little bend in it. We've seen a lot of stone walls today, but this is probably like the largest stones that we've seen. Fun fact, when you make a bridge, you see those white stones across the bottom. Those are the ones that are actually holding up the weight. The other stones, the more horizontal stones, that's the ones that create the height. That's how, back in the day, they figured out how to place a bridge or a doorway without it collapsing, and it's all based on the keystone, which is always the very center stone, which wedges down all the other stones, therefore creating enough pressure to make that arc support whatever's above it. I'm in love with this. And then look at these doors and this canopy here. Wowie wee wow. Now coming back, we get a much wider view of what looks like Tokyo dining. Man, oh man, this place is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I am so glad that I came here at this moment in my life when I've studied Disney parks design, because I feel like I'm able to take like full advantage of all of the magic tricks that I'm seeing. Here we have a beautiful little koi pond. Look at this little hidden garden here. See the layers, your 3 layers. You have the water, this middle bend of bushes, and then that back canopy. If you didn't see yesterday's video, I would suggest watching it maybe after this one, because I don't want to repeat a lot of those same design principles, so that we can move a little bit faster and not make people feel like the video series is repetitious. But yesterday I talked a lot about how Disney uses layering as part of their storytelling. And speaking of layering, now that I'm up a layer or a level, I get an even broader view of this massive like temple or Japanese inspired castle. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. Unfortunately, I'm a dum-dum and I know way more about Disney design than I do real world history. Maybe I should work on that. Don't judge. Wow, this is beautiful. Up here on this little bridge to this secret garden, using this bush line here to create a nice little obstacle, a nice little wall so we can't see the other side. And then it looks like this is the source of where the water is pumping down. And then here we have maybe a little bit more value type restaurant than the big boy across the top, or maybe I got it backwards. Not excited about that style of picnic tables, but you can't get it all right. And here we have this beautiful sort of hidden view of that stacking building. I wish I knew what the name of that was. I know there's a lot of those in San Francisco, which I believe San Francisco has the largest Asian population in North America, and I think that maybe Toronto, where I live, has the second largest. I've always been so fascinated with Asian design and culture just because it's so strikingly different than our own. And all of my friends over the years that have shared things with me, it's just like, it just blows my mind, you know, how small the world is, but yet also how big and different. So we've got this bad boy up over my shoulder. Look at that. We got to come over here and do the centered up shot. There we go. I would have maybe liked to have seen this without Harmonious floating out there, but I was here the other night when they were testing Harmonious, and man, those things are bright. All right, let's step back and look at this Japan Pavilion as a whole. Man, oh man, is that awesome. I can understand why kids don't like this. I mean, Magic Kingdom has so much more per pound for young fans, but whew, I do understand why this is kind of like the theme park for adults. Oh, I love those old illustrations of samurai warriors up there. Wow, that was so awesome. And now I'm assuming we are back in colonial America. Oh wow, oh wow. So I did see a little bit of this the other night when we were looking for a place to do our live stream. But we were walking pretty fast at night, and I was really trying to keep my head down so that I could do this video series and be excited about it. But I'll let you know, right once we get past this America Pavilion, I have 100% not even seen any of it for a second. Other maybe than when I've seen it on Best Life and Beyond, or when my friend Adam covered it on his channel, or East Coast content creator that I have a lot of respect for. I really enjoy Braden from Mickey Views. He's my favorite Walt Disney World YouTube guy. Really like what Braden does and how he just, keeps it moving fast. And I would have to say he's probably taught me the most I know about Walt Disney World. So Art of Disney is fun because I was once an illustrator for the Wonderground Gallery, which makes me feel akin to that. I've hung out with some of these folks before at Disney functions like the Candlelight Procession. Very, very nice folks. All right, let's walk around and see the size of this Liberty Theater, the American Adventure. I'm going to assume this is something like Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln or the Hall of Presidents, which I still haven't done yet. Wow, look at the size of this colonial manor. It doesn't feel like a residence. It feels more like maybe a colonial, like building that would be used for some sort of like governing body or a town hall type vibe. Got this little standalone guy right here. Singers on the stage. Oh God, stop it. I want to make today a non-crying day. I can't cry in all these videos. People will hate me. There it goes. Let that smell of barbecue free me from the tears. All right, I give up. After all the stuff we went through the last couple of years, being here and seeing everybody happy and not fighting and my guy versus your guy, my science versus your anti-science. I've had a big lump in my throat all week just feeling the love of being around people that have just decided that this is a happy place where they're dedicated to having good times. And slowly, my patriotism is returning. And that just helped. All right, let's look back at ye old smokehouse in the Regal Eagle. That smells great. Friends, look at the size of that structure. I mean, look at that. That is massive. It's beautiful. Garden here, which is then of course going to push visually all that back. The way that the smokehouse, the way this little diner's here, that pushes those buildings back. These little sort of kiosk in the front push that building back. That building's not as big as you think, but with all these little building blocks in front of it, when you have to look around items, your eye feels like it's traveling further, therefore adding much more scale to something. If that was just in your neighbor's backyard, you'd be like, it's big, but it ain't that big. No, actually, if it was in your neighbor's backyard, it'd make you mad because it'd be way too big. I got to see Mount Everest, Expedition Everest. I'm new here. I could see Expedition Everest from the backstage. It looks so tiny from behind. Still haven't seen it from the front because I only got to look in the back of Avatar. Oh, this is where America fades and Italy begins. All right, soon. This building right here, I believe, is as far as I've seen, and I'm telling you, I walked through at a brisk pace. But let's look back at America. That's awesome. Okay, over here we have some Naples-style canals, which is cool because I live next to Naples Island in California, where we have canals and a really amazing Christmas festival in our neighborhood. Oh yeah, all these little bridges. Woo! Oh, look at that old boat parked out. That old ship, wooden ship parked on the back side of the American Pavilion. Here we have some of the gondolas. Yes. And then we look back. Look at this perfect framing to look back into the Italian pavilion. Are you guys learning now? And I don't mean that in a demeaning way, but are you kind of getting now how these two big buildings are designed to flank out to make that pizzeria in the back feel so much further than what it is? And then we have that big tower planted next to these two buildings, those two smaller towers. Everything there is designed by an illustrator, by a craftsman or crafts lady to create this scale. And then just to make it even funner, we have this canal pushing it even further back. Woo, I'm in love with this park. Let's go over these stairs and then work our way back in Italy. And then friends, I'm going to get to see some brand new World Showcase. I mean, this stuff I just dipped through really quickly, but I, kind of had just a little iggy on what was getting ready to happen. Oh my Lord. Oh, I'm in love. Look at the tile work. Look at those clovers there and what looks like that old style, kind of, I think this is a Gothic style of architecture. Oh, I see a little courtyard in there. See, now when we were just on the other side of those canals, looking through that keyhole, this felt very pushed back. Now that we're in here, it does definitely feel a little bit tighter, a little bit shorter. Wow, they really went crazy on the stairs at Epcot. Okay, so this is where we did our live stream. Look how beautiful that is during the daytime. I love those two lions up above, those three, creating that balance, and those walkways, one walkway on the bottom. Oh my Lord, the trees through those look-throughs. Oh my God, this is amazing. Will you look at that? Oh, my brain can't take much more. I ain't got much brain to begin with. It's smoking up there. Wow, look at all these different little architectural styles. I'll notice these buildings right here, those are painted by Disney with shadows naturally in them. There's a slight gradient in there where those buildings are a little bit darker on the edges, which creates a couple of things. Creates a sense of that it's older, puts a little bit of tooth and texture in it, but it also makes your eye think that it's deeper, taller, because your mind is seeing these shadows, and where we see shadows, we have been trained our whole life to see depth. And depth is how we see the world, and we can perceive how far away something is. So once you put shadows on a building, you already are messing with the depth sensory that you have learned your entire life. Wow, look at the detailing on this little building. There's an authentic Italian Rascalia. Oh, the Rascalia. You're gonna take the Rascalia down to... No, I shouldn't do that. Never mind. Sorry, we'll cut that bit short. That's awesome. Now when we look back, this is kind of like a Main Street USA type vibe that we have at Disneyland, where the perspective definitely changes. When we look back the other way, it was tapered to make everything look further away. When we look this opposite direction, everything looks much closer to us. This courtyard does not have the same depth looking back as it did looking in. Which makes sense, because when it's deeper looking back, it makes it adventurous. Like, you want to walk back there and go to the store or the shop and spend money. But on the way back, it feels shorter, making you feel like it's not so overwhelming to get back to the path to go to another one to spend more money at stores and shops and restaurants. It's a little retail theory. Yeah, this is beautiful. Right, there's our little Italy pavilion. Here is some plant life to break it apart. And if I had to guess where I'm going next, I want to say, is it Germany? Nope, Spain.
No, I like my
Oh no. I love miniatures. I love trains. I did not know this was a thing. Wow, look at this. Look at this. This is awesome. Wow. I've always thought as Disneyland as being the village that exists around a train track. I'm a train enthusiast. I don't own a train. I don't have the home or time to build one. But I do love the art, because the train is only excuse to build the world that it runs around. Oh my God, my brain's locked up. I wasn't prepared for this. All right, let's look at what we've talked about. Do you see how this stair steps? If you see how this stair steps, you see how in this, they are creating a sense of height and scale, which is exactly how the park is designed. So in a way, this is sort of a metaphor for everything that we're experiencing, and the way that these banks taper and bend using several different bridges, using these stair steps of vertical height. Oh my Lord, I gotta come back to this and just soak this in. It's a whole other, oh, look at it. Keep going. Oh, that's everything I love. It's part of the reason why I love Christmas so much, is that everybody decorates their home, and then you get that train village, like that little village vibe when everybody's house is lit up and has decorations. It makes the world feel smaller and more peaceful. Oh yeah, look at all this. Spain, all these little different pockets and folds. We now have a different color shift from where we were just at over in Italy. Yeah, this is great. So this particular courtyard, let's back up here behind these folks. This particular courtyard is doing something very sly. I'll give you a minute to think about it. How are they pushing back that wall? This courtyard is a lot smaller than many other ones. And what they're doing to make it feel as big as possible, if you guessed, it's the angle of our predominant left and right building on the edge of this entryway. That angle that those buildings are in, that angle is telling your eye that this is all pushed back further. And then if we look at around those angles, how this left building over here, the sort of khaki or beige type building, the way that it has that little pocket back there, that more brownish building is at that angle. That's two angles that are running parallel with each other. Your eyes see that as a horizontal line that's here and then here. So your eye perceives that as going back into space. And then on the other edge, they put this nice little spire on the edge with that point on it, which then does a creation of the 2 points between those different spires. So this courtyard is a little bit short and stubby compared to some of the others, but with the way that they worked out the space, compartmentalizing all these different facades, it still feels adventurous. Feels a lot like Fantasyland back home. Look at the size of this castle type building around the outskirts of this area that we're in. Love this little pocket, or this little pizza slice where the two buildings come together. That is phenomenal. Friends, I think this is where we end our second part in this series, where we're going through and breaking up all of the architecture and the design tricks that Disney works into the World Showcase. It's also a lot of the things that you'll see in the other lands at the other parks. These are just simple designer's tricks, illustration tricks to make this false world feel so much larger and adventurous. I hope you've had fun in part 2. I'll be back with a part 3, guarantee you. and we'll keep looking deeper and deeper inside of this park, which people predicted would be my favorite, and the people predicted exactly right. Thank you so much for showing up today. If you had fun, let me know below. Maybe follow along with the channel. Let's have fun together, like me and my buds over at Club 1313. Thank you guys for bringing me to Spain. I'll see you real soon. Thank you so much for watching.